Alright guys, we're back up in here to do a third small little recap because we had a big problem. As you know, the last video I had said yesterday that I had heard some noise driving on the highway from the rear end. And the video before that I showed you how to do the pinion seal, which is behind the yoke here under this shielded thing here, and you have to watch how far you tighten this nut. So I used my impact and I thought I had it tight enough. In fact, it went past my line. As you can see, everything is lined up now perfectly almost, and I had it just a little past the line. So the last video yesterday, I turned it back a little because it was too far, and I thought maybe I was putting too much tension on it, and something bothered me that night, and I couldn't put my hands on it. And then I watched the video, and I didn't realize this, but you can see it in the video that I put out yesterday, that when the drive shaft was hooked up to the yoke and I was trying to get it loose and end up smacking with a hammer, but you can see this whole ring, the yoke and everything was moving around like crazy. And in my efforts to show you guys not to over tighten it, I didn't tighten it enough, and I was so afraid that perhaps I had ruined the bearing that's here, or possibly messed up the gears and the teeth on the gears in the rear end, the way it was howling. So, I posted that Sunday, and today's Monday, and I'm just shooting this out there real quick. It's kind of like an important video to watch. What I did is today at work I put it up in the air, and I used my impact to tighten it down, and I kept putting the drive shaft in, shaking it and pulling it out and tightening it, and I tightened it down until this wouldn't move at all. And now, as you can see, the lines are perfect again, and I drove home and I heard absolutely no noise out of the rear end, and I'm so happy because I was afraid driving the interstate like I had been. I went up to Dunkirk, New York to move some furniture around for somebody, and I was doing 70 miles an hour for like 45-50 miles one way, and I was so afraid that I had ruined the bearing or messed up the gears in the rear. But everything is quiet. So what I want to tell you guys is to make sure that you tighten it enough but not over tighten, because I thought I over tightened it, and then it turns out I didn't tighten it enough. And I did get out my Haynes destruction manual, and I was trying to find the torque spec for this nut, but they don't give you one. They have a picture of some weird tool that you hook into here. It's got a hole in it, and you have a special gauge, and you back it around, and it measures. It has meters, and it goes up and down like on a scale behind a plate, and you're supposed to mark down the measurement of how much it took to take the nut off, and then run it back down, run it around, and it says to count your teeth, and I did not count my teeth. And your best bet's to count how many threads are coming out, which mine is only like 3. I don't know if you can see in there or not. There's only like 3 threads sticking out of that nut, so I wasn't off a lot, because I had like 2 sticking out of there. But it's enough play that the ring gear and the pinion gear in here were not meshing properly, especially coming off a high speed, and it was just howling, and I never made that noise before. But when you tighten it back up, according to the big destruction manual, you're supposed to tighten it to 3 foot-pounds over what you loosened it at. or I think it's like 22 Newton meters or something, or 20.22 Newton meters. I don't know what Newton meters are, but I know what foot pounds are. So this is just, I'm putting this out the day after because I wanted to let you guys know what I had found out with the noise in the rear end. And just to reiterate what I said on one of the first videos, that I'm not editing anything. I'm not going to let you guys miss anything, even if I screw up. And I almost screwed up big time this time. I almost blew out the rear end. So that being said, my suggestion is, if you do this, count the teeth, how many thread teeth are hanging out your nut before you take it off, and make your mark just like I did, and then you can run it back in and count your teeth, and then line your mark up, and that makes everything all happy. So because everything's happy now that I did that, but I wanted to show you guys and tell you guys that, you know, I've been doing this for 30 years, and even I make mistakes more often than I'd rather admit. So this is the day after. This is Monday, the day after I did the back off video, and I didn't destroy my rear end, thank God. And everything is happy. So we're gonna cut this video out, and until the next one, y'all have fun.